Hey everyone, Winslow here, and welcome to hopefully a new series, Empyrion Galactic Survival. We are in the Reforged Eden custom scenario, which is enormous, version 1.10. We're going to start on a dread planet, do a very hard start, and see how well we do and how far we get. For those of you who might not be aware of what it is, Empyrion is a survival game based in space. There are a number of planets to explore, systems to explore, resources to harvest, buildings to build, ships to design, and enemies to fight. And it is my hope that we at least make it through a very hard start and begin exploration of the Andromeda Galaxy. Now, on this planet, we start out in an abandoned bunker. We have been kidnapped and left to die by some pirates that maybe we double-crossed, maybe we were just unlucky as we were in an escape pod, but we thankfully have enough supplies to get us through a couple of days on the planet. And what I just did there is, in single player, it is rather important to make sure that you have current backup saves, because in the event of any sort of power failure or power interruption with your PC or laptop, whatever you're playing on, your game will be not recoverable. It will be completely gone. That is partially because of the size of the database, the fact that Empyrion saves in real time, and there's no cloud saves. Cloud saves are not feasible with Empyrion. So what I generally like to do is every time I log in, first login for the day, or even first login for a playthrough, I will create a backup save, and then every day that I start playing, I will just make sure that I create a new backup. That way, if I have a power outage, I at least have something to fall back to and I don't have to completely start over. Again, there's no way to recover, or no reliable way to recover, lost data from a save file, a single-player save file. And that could potentially set you back dozens, if not hundreds, of hours, depending on how far you are. Empyrion itself is not a very long game. There is a lot to explore, but Reforged Eden, which is a combination of Project Eden and Reforged Galaxy, there's what, something like 20,000 systems to explore, each with anywhere from 1 to 30 planets, moons, asteroid belts, additional suns, space stations, and their associated playfields to explore. So we are on a dead planet. This is a dread start. And the pirates dropped us off in a bunker, and we have some tools at our disposal. We have a survival multi-tool, we have a detector, a pistol, a shotgun, some C4 explosives, food, and oxygen. Enough to theoretically last us until we can escape the planet. There's no enemies on the Dread planet, so you don't have to worry about being hunted by anything, but there's no oxygen. There's no breathable atmosphere. And for this start, what we have to do is we need to go and find points of interest around the planet and salvage goods, bits and pieces for crafting, and as we get to the various points of interest, blow up the alien cores that are in them. The quest line for the Dread Start is to bust alien cores. So once we have done that, we should end up at level 13 or 14, which is enough to make an escape ship. And then we'll be able to explore around the planet, and then eventually leave the planet, explore the rest of the system, and then go to other systems. And then we have all of Empyrion to explore. There are quite a number of good communities to join and play with Empyrion if you want to play multiplayer. But for this playthrough, I am going to be doing single player because I want a little bit more control over the world and the options I have at my disposal. In a lot of multiplayer servers, you will find people that just spend their entire time hunting down any and all enemy ships because they're looking for specific items. It makes it very difficult for the individual player to find those things to take on their own, which they're not super difficult to handle. There is a clear progression in Empyrion for how you can get stronger, get bigger ships, get better guns. But when you get there as a solo player and everything that you can then fight has been wiped out, that's not really fun. So I am, again, in single player, and I don't think I'm going to be turning on regenerating POIs because there's a lot of the galaxy to explore. But I might. If I get established in a good system and it's resource rich with asteroids out in orbit, I might enable regenerating points of interest just so I can have some asteroids nearby, especially if it's rare ones like gold or whatever. But that is way ahead of where I actually am. I am nowhere near any of that. So what's happening now is I am finding abandoned or ruined buildings or bases on this dead planet. I don't know what happened to cause the planet to die. I don't know if it was a environmental disaster. I don't know if it was war. I don't know what happened. It's just I know that there's a lot of destroyed and crumbling buildings all over the planet and very few harvestable resources. There's no meteorites that land here. There's no ore to harvest. There's loot boxes. There's, storage boxes in buildings. And there's some resource harvesting through bearings, so like copper, iron, silicon bearings. But that's it. Everything else on this planet you have to scavenge. And the real end goal of this start is to find the unfinished escape shuttle. There's a launch pad with a shuttle that has pretty much all of the components you would need to build either a pretty solid small vessel or a pretty solid capital vessel. If you salvage everything on the planet, not even everything, if you salvage a significant number of points of interest on the planet, you'll be set. The first thing that I really need to do is get my portable constructor set up. And because it's so limited on resources, I've kind of been screaming through these bases, just looking through boxes to find iron, because I need 5 iron ore in order to build the portable constructor, which will allow me to build everything else that I'll need for a starter base so that I can really start salvaging. And there's some iron ore. That's more than I need, but that's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to queue these up, and I'll be right back. The portable constructor has, I believe, a seemingly unlimited inventory. I don't think it's limited by weight. I think it might just be limited by the number of items that can go in there. But you can't connect to it like a lot of other containers with wireless. But for that, it's just a good portable storage for crafting, emergency crafting, things like that. And with that, I'll be able to craft all of the basics that I need for my base. Now, I had already been here and had found this Hoverbike construction kit, which saves me a bit in having to craft one. Gives me a bit of resources. And then this will allow me to get up and around and move around the planet a lot faster and find that escape rocket that I need in order to survive. The new Hoverbike in 1.10 is infinitely better than the old motorbike. However, it's still not great. There are times where if you're going full speed and you bump an object, it will pop you up into the air, and that can kind of be okay, but then there are times where it'll just flip you around upside down, and some people have even reported almost getting launched into space. But it's still better for navigating than the old motorbike. It's not quite as good as a regular hover vessel, but it has no storage, it requires no fuel, and you can pick it up and carry it with you. So I'd say it's pretty decent. The Dread Start planet has one POI that is powered and active, and there is a communications antenna on the planet that will show up as a blue marker. And if you find that, then within about 1.5 to 2 kilometers of that, you should find, in most cases, the launch pad, which that's where it is. Now, the launch pad, there's typically a smaller shuttle next to it, a couple of oxygen and maybe fuel buildings near it, and then this large multi-stage shuttle. And it can all be dismantled. And there's thrusters in there, there's fuel tanks, there's warp drives, there's pentaxid tanks, there's armor repair, fridges, gardens, everything you need to create a ship. So what we're going to do after we get a base started is dismantle this and make our escape vehicle. I haven't decided if I want to just build something a la carte or if I want to use something from the workshop. With that, I wanted to ask, what would people prefer? Do you want to see building episodes? Would you like live streams for building? I'll probably build in creative because building in survival mode can be kind of rough if I'm building some more of a polished product. I have a few ships that I've put on the workshop that are pretty decent and have some pretty decent following and reviews on them. But I also kind of like the idea of just making a junker and going from there. So let me know what you think I should do. And also, I'm undecided if I want to do short edited episodes or if I'm just going to end up live streaming. Because live streaming will give you an unedited view into the game, but also there's a lot of travel in this game, and there's a lot of downtime, and there's a lot of waiting. So it doesn't always make for the most entertaining experience. One of the nice things about Reforged Eden is the salvage core which acts like any other regular core. You can put it in any base or vessel. Well, base if it's not regenerating POI. But that allows you to properly salvage whatever it is you're salvaging, and you can retrieve the components, thrusters, machines, constructors, all of that stuff. The problem with it is you can't use it again on POIs. And it can't be used for anything else that requires a core. And I'm dumb, so I need to go farm more and get more stuff so I can make a second core. And I should now have enough bits and pieces from this smaller shuttle to get my base ready. The base is going to be at the foot of the escape rocket or escape shuttle because it'll be easier to transfer items to and fro. I don't know if I want to just do a small ship first or if I just want to make a capital ship and get out. I think I'm going to do a small ship so I can explore more of the planet and do some small exploration of the system around us. Once you leave the Dread Planet, there's a lot more plentiful places to go with better resources. So there's not really much of a need to come back to the planet once I'm done here. And a small vessel will be sufficient. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. And with oxygen, fuel, and food storage, and a way to get around, and something to dismantle, I think I'm set. So I'm going to wrap this up here. I want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And it's been a while since I've made anything or uploaded. I've been just devoting myself to work, and it's really paying off because I'm closing on a house at the end of August. So with that, thanks again for watching. I appreciate you sticking it out to the end. And next time we will start on salvaging this POI and building a ship. All right, take care. Bye-bye.